Previously on Awful Games.
You know, if I had to choose between this game and suicide, I'd fucking kill myself! It's Kara made a game about Transformers, but it's BULLSHIT! Now,
Now to send this game into fucking oblivion!
what? There's a sequel?
Yeah!
Great Scott tissue! What in the blue hell was Sakara smoking? What gave him the sick idea to make a Transformers game and fuck it up? That game almost killed me! But I finally destroyed it once and for all. For this game shall never ever service the public ever again. But the ending you saw in the review wasn't the original ending. To get the actual ending, you needed to collect all the letters that spell Rodimus in each level. R is in level 1, O is in level 2, D is in level 4, I is in level 5, M is in level 7, U is in a secret room in level 8, and S is in level 9. When you complete the game with those letters, you get this ending. But that also isn't the real ending. To get the real ending, you have to beat the game again. But this time, you play as Rodimus Prime, who apparently looks like a repainted Ultra Magnus in his robot form for some reason. Probably done by retarded game designers. Ugh. So after completing the game as Rodimus and collecting the letters again, you finally get the real ending. The epic conclusion is finally here! You guys can't be joking, right? And that's when the whole fiasco began in the review. My Famicom sadly had to go through weeks of repairs after that incident. So after seeing the bullshit Takara pulled off with this game, everyone would think by now that they finally learned their lesson, and that is they were never meant to make video games based on Transformers, and that they would continue with the toys and the shows, right? BULLSHIT! It's not over! Seriously, the torture is now over because the car had the balls to make a sequel! Anyways, as I was saying before, in 1987, Takara released a game based on a series called Transformers the Headmasters for the Famicom Disk System. And since the show was only released in Japan, let me briefly explain what the show exactly is about. Transformers the Headmasters was the very first anime in the Transformers franchise, being that the original was mostly an American show. Toei produced 35 episodes of it, and the storyline was very different from the fourth and final season, which they rejected in favor of this series due to the final season being too short. Headmasters was also very dark in contrast to season 4, with Optimus Prime sacrificing his life to save Cybertron, Ultraman's getting killed by Six-Shot and having a sad funeral for him, Galvatron freezing himself in an iceberg and then getting killed, of course, Cybertron blowing up, yes people, that actually happens, I'm serious, and among others. Aside from that, the Decepticons finally get defeated and everything else is resolved in the end. Now with that epic conclusion of such a classic series that the Western audience never got to see, you'd think that the game based on the series would actually redeem themselves from the disaster of Convoy no Nazo, right?
Bullshit!
I'm sure you saw that coming, but let's just see how much Sakara has quote-unquote improved over Convoy no Nazo with this game. The first thing you'll notice is that they actually incorporated the theme song in the game, and it sounds better than the one they did with Convoy no Nazo with Transformers 2010. It sounds pretty damn close too. Just listen. Not bad. And now you're about to see the first improvement over Convoy no Nazo in this game. And as you can see right away, the game actually has a save feature. Of course, this is because it's on the Famicom disk system, but still, an improvement nonetheless. But is it enough? Not quite. But anyway, since you can enter a name for your save game this time, let's see if we can come up with the proper term for this game. What does that spell?
Bullshit!
I'm sure you all found that quite predictable, but who cares? It is bullshit. Though not as bullshit as Convoy no Nazo was, but still bullshit. Here's another improvement over Convoy no Nazo. You can actually select the level you want to pick. Okay, I won't be too picky on this, so I'm going to start off on Earth. Oh, and you can, that part there is where what transformer you need to select. You start off with Rodimus in the very beginning. And this is where things start going downhill. So it looks like your basic run and gun game like Convoy no Nazo, but here are a few improvements in terms of gameplay, graphics, and music. First of all, you have an energy bar so you won't die in one hit like in Convoy no Nazo, a power bar which I'll get to in a moment, and I'm not quite sure what the S means because I couldn't find that item anywhere in the game, but I'm pretty sure it's useful somewhere down the line. Plus, if you rescue one or more Autobots in later levels, not only can you select the character before you start a level, you can also do this while you're in a level. The graphics, while pretty bland for the most part, they're still a huge improvement over Convoy no Nazo. And there's different background music and it plays longer tunes, not like the one in Convoy no Nazo where the song loops over and over and over again. So you might be thinking, why is this an awful game? You mentioned a lot of good stuff. Well, you're about to see the major flaws in the game in a moment. Take a look at what I'm about to do. In case you don't want to collect power-ups and such, and you just want to complete the level, that's it. This is all you gotta do. Fun, isn't it? Did you see that shit? The enemies barely touched me. That's how fucking pathetic this game is. But if you think that's bad enough, just check out the next problem. Let's see, It involves something that has to do with, I don't know, maybe, the controls? When you control Rodimus or whatever character you're using in the beginning of each level, the only thing you can do is move forward, drive backwards without turning around, and shoot only in two directions. And that's forward and up or right. You think that's bad? Well, it's a lot worse once you actually try them against enemies. As you notice, enemies fly around all over the place randomly. Not only that, they can attack you from behind or directly above you, which are both impossible to do because you can't shoot in those directions. And even if you move back, you take forever to do so. So you have no fucking choice but to take damage. The controls can also be a real bitch once you're trying to slow down to prevent getting hit from a bomb, because you see these things immediately. You think that you can easily avoid it by simply stopping, but no. Takara is once again up your ass by making you take fucking forever to slow down, thus leaving you no choice but to get hit. What a crock of shit. You know what else I hate about this game? No rapid fire unless you increase your power! You need to kill enemies and collect items in order to survive against the enemies of the level. But here's the problem. Because you're limited to how you control your character, and because of enemies flying around like crazy, chances are you're going to face the boss with a low amount of energy. But if you go straight forward and avoiding everything in sight without worrying, then you're going to end up shooting really slowly with a chance of getting killed by the boss easily. Either way, you're still fucked! Listen, Takara. In every shoot 'em up game I know on the NES and Famicom, there is some form of rapid fire you can do in the game. Either tap the B button rapidly or hold it. But this game does neither in your default form like all other classic shoot 'em ups. Even the bad shoot 'em ups do this too. Convoy no Nazo had rapid fire from the get-go, not like what you did with this shit. When you're playing this game and you lack rapid fire in some way, it's frustrating as fuck. I can prove to you with other games that you really fucked up on this part. Takara.
I'm a goddamn motherfucking retarded!
It is wrong to take out or limit rapid fire in the game. You should be impeached for that. It's also a pain in the ass when you're fighting against the boss in each level. On Earth, you go against Grimlock, who was never a Decepticon in the show. Not only do you have to deal with these pain in the ass controls, you're also going to notice that the hit detection is piss poor as shit. No matter how close or how far you fire at him, it takes like 5 to 6 shots to see him flash. Think that's a lot, right? But the icing on the cake is that you've got Grimlock throwing bombs at your ass, resulting in taking even longer to kill him. So the only way to survive and kill him is to make sure you have all your energy, power, and speed bars at maximum, because if you don't, then you'll have the worst possible case of impossible boss anxiety. And those idiots at Takara did it again! Like Convoy no Nazo, the majority of these enemies in each level aren't even from the show. Yeah, you got the cassettes from Sound Blaster and Twincast, but they don't transform. At least the generic planes from generic tanks transformed in Convoy no Nazo, which actually made a little more sense because it's Transformers. What the fuck are all these things? You've got donuts, a toy helicopter, a fucking toy plane, raining chocolate salty balls, African killer bees, okay, I ran out of names for these games, guys, but you get what I'm talking about, right? This just in. It seems that reliable sources confirm that the default character I'm playing as right now is not Rodimus Prime or Hot Rod. The Transformer I'm actually playing as is actually Chrome Dome. Chrome Dome? Seriously, Chrome Dome? Even though he doesn't look anything like Chrome Dome from the show and looks more like Rodimus or Hot Rod? My god! That is just low right there! The game designers in Sakara are a lot stupider than I thought. My god, who the hell does Sakara to hire to develop their games? You know, I bet they get people from the main toy division and get a bunch of random inexperienced people from the street to make games for them, and I bet they do something like this. Hey sir, want to make a quick buck by making shitty games for children? Then come on down to the gaming division of Takara, where we make shitty games based on the hit series Transformers and scam the children of the world. Good God! You know, if I was that comic book guy from The Simpsons and saw this shit happening, I'd probably be like, worst idea ever. I'd probably knock that motherfucker out along with that. So after you beat the boss, you only complete the first half of the level. Yes, people, there's a second half. Prepare for more suffering. In the second half of the level, you go inside the jail to see if there's any kidnapped Transformers you need to rescue. And if you're lucky, the Transformer you save will become a playable character. But unfortunately, whether you have all the power and speed at full force or not, those things are not automatically granted to the other Transformer once you get them. So if Chrome gets killed, don't expect the next Transformer to save you from the next level. Especially since there's hardly any enemies that help increase your power and speed. Unfortunately, in Earth's jail, there are no Transformers to rescue. And as you notice, the only way to open the gates in each part of the jail is to either kill enough enemies or destroy all the default balls depending where you are to see a Decepticon symbol pop up. And that's your key to get out. Okay, so this part of the game isn't that bad, but the biggest issue you're gonna find here is the controls. They're both stiff and sensitive at the same time. For example, if there's any enemy that pops out of nowhere and tries to attack you up close, you try to get away, but there's a 1 second delay before you move, possibly resulting in a hit. But since you gotta get away so quickly, you end up moving too fast, and if there's an enemy right across, you're fucked. And again with these chocolate salty balls and donuts as enemies instead of having actual things related to Transformers. My god, can these people ever be creative at least? Adding spiders to the mix ain't gonna help. Oh, and I forgot to mention that once your power bar is full, your weapon turns into a spread gun like in Contra. And I gotta admit, Takara actually did something right with that. But the spread gun isn't gonna help you long enough. Once you get to the boss, your weapon somehow magically turns from a spread gun into a ping pong ball. Who the fuck in Takara thought this was a good idea? And who the hell am I fighting? Is that even a character from the Headmasters anime? It doesn't even look like a Transformer in the slightest. In fact, that thing reminds me of those battery-powered toy robots that say, "My name is Zobok. Fire! Drop your weapon." Anyway, the objective of his part is to kill the second boss in the form of a Pong-style fight. And unless you have a big block to hide behind like I'm doing right now, there's no way in hell you're gonna survive. Why? Because these balls fly around all over the place and even your own missiles can kill you. What the fuck is up with that, Takara? Ladies and gentlemen, I think I may have discovered Pong for retards. Think that's bad? Well, that's how the game developers at Takara were when they made this piece of shit in Convoy no Nazo. So after you kill the boss, you are treated to a bonus stage that's actually the only fun part about this game. Too bad it's short! The next level I'm going to show you is Cybertron. Now let me ask you this question. Do you notice anything different from this in the first half of the Earth level aside from different background, different music, and recolored enemies? Cause I sure as hell don't. It's basically the same thing, so I hardly have anything to say about this part. The only thing I can say is that you still keep the amount of power and speed you had before, and that the boss is different, of course. Speaking of the first boss in this level, Takara fucked up again! I mean, who the fuck is this thing? At least Earth had Grimlock, but I honestly can't tell who this Transformer really is. They're so poorly designed And lots of them don't even remind me of any of the G1 and Headmasters characters. Not to mention, for whatever reason, this boss seems way too easy, especially when your power and speed bars are at maximum. At least the Cybertron jail is a little different from the Earth jail, but is it better? Fuck no it isn't! You still have the stiff and sensitive controls, you still have the chocolate salty balls to kill, and the objective is still the same. The only new enemies this level has is octopuses and those flying saucer thingies. Takara, can you please be more creative? The other thing that's different is that there's actually a transformer to rescue. I think it's either Highbrow or Brainstorm because it's blue and white and poorly designed at the same time, but those two Headmasters in the show that had the colors blue and white. Once again, I like to remind you that the transformer you rescue won't gain the same power and speed you currently have. And again with the ping pong boss in this level. Only this time, it's even more a pain in the ass. When you fight the second boss on Cybertron, you'll notice that the protection blocks are half the size they were on the Earth stage, meaning that you'll take even more damage from the enemy's ping pongs than before. So you better make sure you have full power and speed, because if they're both weak, surviving this part is a freaking laugh. On a positive note, the boss you're fighting actually looks like a transformer. Kinda reminds me of the Decepticon 6-Shot, which makes perfect sense because he killed Ultra Magnus in the middle of the series. So I'll give credit to Takara for that. So after you beat him, you're taken to another short bonus stage like last time. But now, you have the rescue transformer with you, so I'd recommend sharing some of your energy with him. And once the level is complete, you don't immediately go to the next level. You have to play level 2 again. No, I did not stun her. You have to play level 2 again. Why? You're about to find out. When you head back to Cybertron, make sure you immediately switch to the transformer you rescued at the beginning of the level. And as you can see, the transformer you rescued is none other than Headmaster Highbrow. Now about Highbrow, he's actually pretty useful if you fill up his energy bar completely, and unlike Chrome Dome, he can fly around in places and shoot like a spread gun. The only thing is that it's not so easy because you still have enemies flying around in weird patterns, which really sucks. Now why do you need to use Highbrow at the beginning of this level? In the beginning, you'll notice another kidnapped transformer hanging in a helicopter. Rescue it and you'll find out that it's none other than Rodimus Prime. The real Rodimus Prime, not Chrome Dome. But here's the problem. He shoots the exact same way as Chrome Dome and he's no better! Another thing that sucks about Rodimus is that he also looks exactly like Chrome Dome in his transformed state. You can only tell a difference in their vehicle modes. And when I'm playing in the second half of the stage, I have no idea who's who after I select. In fact, Highbrow looks the same too, except instead of blue, he's red. In fact, all of them look the same and they shoot the same way too. Are you fucking lazy, Takara? How the hell am I supposed to distinguish one transformer from the other? So after you beat Cybertron again, but with Rodimus rescued this time, you now go to the jail stage. Of course, I'd recommend raising their power and speed bars to maximum first in Earth because the enemies might fuck you in the ass in seconds. In the beginning of this level, you notice a helicopter holding another kidnapped transformer. This one is none other than Headmaster Hardhead. And let me say this right now. He is by far the worst transformer in the game. Why? Take a look. What the fuck is that?
Bullshit!
Don't you know it's illegal to use the arch position in a 2D shoot 'em up and run and gun game? Word of advice, people. Never ever use Hardhead in the first lap of any level because he is totally useless. Unless he's the only transformer available in your team. So now we're introduced to the first boss of the jail stage, who is just as bad as the Cybertron boss. Why? He is just as piss easy as the previous one. In fact, he's easier now that you have more Transformers backing you up. Why the hell did the first half bosses go from too hard to too easy? That's like going from an annoying smartass to a useless retard. The fifth and final Transformer you rescue is located in the middle of the second half of the jail stage. It is none other than Headmaster Brainstorm, who I think is just as useful as Highbrow. The only difference is that Brainstorm is a plane while Highbrow is a helicopter. No big deal. The boss in the second half is also a ping pong boss like the previous two. Wow, what a surprise. And you kill him the exact same way. The only difference is that the protection boxes are totally useless now because they're so fucking small. The only way to survive it is if at least 4 of your Transformers has full energy, full power, and full speed. Otherwise, you're gonna get screwed worse than getting screwed literally by a gay guy. So what changes have occurred in this game? Hardly anything. The game goes from too hard to too easy, which should at least be the other way around. And the levels, bosses, and Transformers in their transform state are practically the same. Takara again was that fucking lazy and that fucking stupid, just like what they did with Convoy no Nazo. But at least they had the guts to put energy, power, and speed in it, as well as a save feature. So finally, we're close to the end. We've rescued all 3 Headmasters in Rodimus Prime, put them into full power and speed, and now we're ready to face the big... You know what? Fuck it. After the shitfest Sakura pulled with Convoy and Nazo, and after the shitfest we just been through, I'm sure the last stage is going to be exactly the same as the other 3. It's getting quite predictable now, and they've done this kind of shit in Convoy no Nazo, so let's just get this over with before we waste any more time with this piece of shit. Holy Bob Saget! That thing is huge! And the way the final battle is setting up, this could get quite interesting. What a surprise! So here we are at the final battle. At last! You are playing as none other than Autobot Headmaster Fortress Maximus. And you're fighting against the Decepticon Headmaster and leader, Scorponok. And let me say this right now. You think that he'd be easy to handle because you have energy, power, and speed all at maximum, right?
Wrong!
This guy is harder than a 12-inch erect penis. First of all, you've got Scorponok throwing powerful missiles all over the place, while you, on the other hand, get a piece of shit pistol. That's right, I said it. Pistol! Along with that, his controls are so awkward. Why the fuck do you have to press B to jump and A to shoot? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Another thing I hate about Scorponok is that he takes fucking forever to die. You still have hit detection problems even if you're still using the most powerful Transformer in your team. But for you, your energy gets drained in no time, and guess what happens? In case if I have to refresh your memory, every time you die, there's no extra lives! It's game over, and guess what you have to do every time you lose to Scorponok? You have to keep switching the disc to side B and then back to side A. What the fuck? It may not seem like a big problem at first, but it gets tedious after a while. So with awkward controls, poor hit detection, Scorponok shooting all over the place, you having a weak weapon, and constantly switching disc sides every time you lose, you're gonna keep doing this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you reach the point where the game drives you completely insane! You know what? I've had enough of this. This may be a piece of shit, but I've miraculously come this far, and even though it's pissing me off, this boss battle isn't as bad as Triptychon and Convoy no Nazo. So I'm gonna get ready and open up a can of whoop ass on Scorponok, because if the final battle at least looks decent, the ending should too. So with that said, let's do this! Come on. I'm ready. Come on, Headmasters. Let's go. Let's kick the shit out of Scorponok. We're gonna be pumped up. We're gonna fight to the finish. We're not gonna die this time. We're sick and tired of dying. And it ain't over. I may have taken a few damages now, but it's not gonna last. Come on. Like I said before, whoop ass on your ass. Come on. You're almost dead. I know it. Come on. Come on. I'm almost killing you. You're almost shot dead. Can't wait to see the ending credits so I can finally murder the person who made this piece of shit. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Yes! Yes! Oh, hell yes! Thank you, people. You are too kind. Oh, yes! I'm so glad we finally made it to the end! Oh boy. Like I said, I can't wait for the ending credits to come up after the... What the fuck? Why did they misspell Convoy again? Well, anyway, like as I was saying, I can't wait for the ending credits to show up because I can't wait to find out who made this piece of shit so I can brutally murder his fucking ass. I can freeze his ass so badly. Ugh! Alright, so hurry up. Pass the Headmasters. Oh boy. Last one. Last one. Last one. Oh, one more. Brainstorm. And then comes the credits. Come on. Congratulations. Takara, why did you put congratulations again? Why did you make 2 shitty Transformers games in a row?
Why'd you make my life a living hell?
Now I know what you're thinking. You think that I'm gonna destroy the game like I did with Convoy or Nazo, right? Well, I'm not. Now, remember what I said before. The game isn't as bad as Transformers Convoy or Nazo because this game at least has a few redeeming qualities. I guess I need to give you a short summary explaining why. Let's start off with the bad. Poor controls, repetitive levels, game going from too hard to too easy and then too hard again, making it unbalanced, no extra lives, the bosses and enemies are all practically the same, and the Transformers in their transformed state all look exactly the same. Now for the good. The addition of a save feature, level select, energy, power, and speed bars, and slight improvements in graphics compared to Convoy or Nazo. So with that in mind, this game gets a 1.5 out of 5. So now that we're finally done with Takara's gaming antics on their own toy franchise, I think it's safe to say that the horror is finally over.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
I'm free! Hold on a second. Kiki's delivery service. There's one more! Wait, what? You pranked me? Ah, Bob, say it!
Transformers!